All right, welcome everybody to Crown Council Live. Stuart Anderson here with Greg. Hey, Greg Anderson.
Hey.
So welcome to our live stream broadcast. This is where we meet once a week for an hour with the Crown Council membership, our community, our resource partners, give you updates and kind of fill you in on what's happening, not only here in the membership, but also we connect with great guests from across the country, our TOPS coaches, our resource partners, our members, our humanitarians, and it's just always a fun treat. We've almost been doing this for 2 years, every Thursday, and we have had some incredible stories and opportunity to meet with this community to remind you every week that you do not practice alone. So, Gregor, how are you?
Well, is it okay to tell everybody it's snowing outside?
Oh, man, it did snow here in Salt Lake.
I'm just saying, in Salt Lake City today, we got leaves on the trees, but snow on the ground.
Yeah,
So
tricky.
it's a beautiful fall here, and things are great. Got some fun announcements, though.
Yeah, let's do it. We've got 2 announcements that hopefully when this recording is over, we can cut up and send out just these short video segments out to the membership. So number one, let's talk about the annual event in Austin. Every year, the Crown Council gathers all of the membership, doctors, team members, resource partners. And in 2024, January 25th, 26th, and 27th, we're going to be in Austin. This is the 29th annual event. And our big announcement is it's almost full. The hotel, when Greg checked yesterday, 92% or 94% full. So the meeting itself, if you had plans on attending, do so now, today, if you're watching this record. Yeah, if you want to be with us,
always the time.
This is the time. We're so excited to welcome the teams that have already registered and all of the recognition that'll take place, whether it's being recognized for your Smiles for Life efforts, kicking off your year as one of the greatest opportunities to set new goals and go camping, I guess in quotation marks, as a team. But the 29th annual event, we are under 100 days, inside almost 90 days away from being together in Austin. And we are looking forward to gathering the Crown Council membership. So register now, don't wait any longer, and start planning to be with us. What did I miss, Gregor, about the annual event?
Elvis will be in the building. Now, might be. Rachel told me Elvis was going to be in the building. I don't know if this is some kind of an afterlife experience, but I do know Elvis will be in the building.
Very good. Yeah, we've got some great entertainment. It's always part of the Crown Council annual event, entertainment in the evening. So plan on that. This is not your typical dental meeting. So if you've never been, call us here at the office or visit crowncouncil.com. You'll see a link at the top for the annual event where you can get the schedule and understand a little bit more about what the annual event is. So looking forward to it. All right, part 2, big sneak peek for next year's Smiles for Life campaign. This is something new and fun. We always change the color, and this is the mailer that we have prepared that is going to be going out when next week, Greg.
Yeah, it'll be there by the 1st of November, and this is coral pink.
Coral
this
pink.
year. Coral pink. We're going with this year, and we've got a couple of fun things that'll be mailed with the marketing boxes. Marketing boxes will be there before January 1st. If Smiles for Life isn't in your wheelhouse and you haven't done it before, this is a great year to do it.
Yeah.
It's great campaign. We've busted through the $50 million mark, and I say that with gratitude to anyone who is listening, who has participated. That is a bucket load of money. $50 million is just a lot.
Yeah.
Premier charitable campaign in dentistry, and join us.
Yeah, very good. And this is what you're seeing here is a flyer that is going out to every practice who participated last year to confirm that they are indeed participating in 2024. You'll see the information down on the bottom to confirm your practice name, your doctor's name, your internal charity champion who's heading up the Smiles for Life program, as well as your local charity. So we are excited to already launch next year's Smiles for Life whitening campaign. And we cannot move forward without a huge thanks to our partners, My Social Practice. If you don't know My Social Practice and what they do for the Smiles for Life campaign, each year they prepare all the beautiful printed material, digital material, design, everything that makes the Smiles for Life whitening campaign look good. It is them that do it. So we are extremely grateful for My Social Practice, and not only what they've done this year, but every year as they continue to be our partners in the Smiles for Life campaign. So big thanks to that team, and grateful for all that they contribute to Smiles for Life whitening.
Same with Ultradent. I mean, really, without My Social Practice and Ultradent, this campaign would have a hard time getting off the ground.
Yeah, great story. Greg met with Ultradent a couple weeks ago, and every year we ask Ultradent and the team there, are we good for another year? And without fail, they raise their hand and say, absolutely, we're on board to do Smiles for Life whitening. So big thanks to Steve Clark and all of the team over at Ultradent for their partnership and everything they do. Yeah, big thanks there. Very good. Okay. Done with announcements. Did I miss anything, Greg?
Do you want to tell them about the secret for next Tuesday? Do you want to do that? Or should I just hold it out there?
Man, I forgot. What is it?
Well, now for years, Crown Council members have encouraged us to the power of the Crown Council community to create better pricing on clinical supplies for the practice. And all I'm going to say is that we have the answer. The average savings from our test group on the pricing of clinical supplies is over 30%. The announcement's next Tuesday.
Yeah, new resource partner.
Yep, that's all I'm going to say.
So new resource. It's going to be really fun to launch, and it also has a fun Smiles for Life campaign component that your practice with the money that you'll save will also be able to contribute to the total of Smiles for Life. So very good. All right. I know that we've got our guest waiting in the wings. So I'll ask DJ to bring Sean in. Sean has joined us once before. He's a relatively new resource partner, and you will meet Sean at the annual event. Sean is coming, and he's going to be a big part of everything that we're doing there. So when we've had Sean on before, although all of this kind of mixes together, Sean. I don't remember. It was a few months ago, but me and Sean met at the DDMC, so the Dental Digital Marketing Conference, and Sean's company, The Art of Dental Marketing, it just turned my head. It felt like such an incredible fit for all of Crown Council, and the way that he cares about the marketing that's being done in your practice, the stories that are being told about your practice, and the messaging that's going out about you as the front line of healthcare workers. It just it just fits, in my opinion. So grateful to have Sean on. Sean, we're going to get into some good questions about what works and what doesn't work for marketing. So grateful to have you. You're muted. I just want to make sure we can hear you.
I've unmuted a few times. Zoom hates me, but it should be good now. How are you, buddy? It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Grateful you're here. We were just talking about that it's snowing here in Salt Lake. How are things where you are?
Not snowing, but it's getting colder. We're supposed to get in the 40s, so I'll complain about that while you guys enjoy your snow.
Man,
I was only worried, Stu, when you said he was relatively new, that you were going to start with he's a relative and that he was like a brother from another mother or something.
That'd be cool.
I guess so. Yeah, we could call
we
it
can
that.
claim him. We can claim him.
Fun. So one thing that Sean and I talked about yesterday was in your practice. So if I'm talking to a dentist or I'm talking to a practice advisor, you have seen relatively few marketing agencies over the span of your career. So I'm talking, I mean, what could be the maximum amount of marketing agencies that a practice hires over their lifetime? 4 or 5? With Sean, he sees marketing and advertising and stories from dental practices. I always joke around with my wife that the only people I follow on Instagram are it's just like a sad scroll of different dental practices as I look through. And I just was very interested on his perspective of different marketing agencies, what he sees that's working, what's not working, the main ways that dentists are making mistakes when it comes to hiring different marketing groups and advertising agencies. So I guess real talk today, but really grateful to have you on, Sean. Can you talk for 1 sec, just real quick, about what your company, who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
I'm obviously Sean Hamill, the founder of Art of Dental Marketing. And we're a very different type of dental marketing agency. So we do story-based and emotive marketing for dental practices based on patient experience and things that actually really sell dentistry. So our approach is very different. I never really understood, honestly, Stuart, how different it was and how welcomed the message was until speaking at DDMC and seeing that people are kind of starving for this information. Because right now it's like agency overload. And in dental marketing, there are so many people coming in the field. Doctors don't know who to listen to. They don't know which way to turn. And so with our approach and the message of what we're doing now really starting to hit and to register, it seems like doctors are really responsive to kind of the principles of what we stand for.
Nice. I mean, when you look at dental marketing agencies, are all of them, are any of them really different? And how would you describe, like if a doctor was saying, well, how are you different, Sean? How can you talk about that for a minute?
Absolutely. I get asked that question a lot. I kind of lead with that a lot too. A lot of practice marketing agencies are built for profit. Like the agencies themselves are built to make money. I wouldn't say all of them. There definitely are good dental marketers out there, don't get me wrong. But there are a lot of people that are entering this space. It's kind of a twofold thing. So you have established agencies, like that's where I was. I was in the corporate marketing world and moved into dental helping a friend, not realizing that everything that I knew about marketing wasn't going to work. Like I had to totally revamp my mindset around everything to get this to work. But you have a lot of existing companies that are pushing into dental because they know that they can charge higher fees. They know that these businesses are fiscally very solid in terms of being able to get their money back and things like that. And so you've got people pushing into the space that way. You also have this new like social media influencer type push. You see it on Instagram and stuff all the time of, work from home, work 2 hours a day, make $600 million a year, right? You see all this stuff and it's encouraging people to get, Google certified or to take this course. And then all of a sudden I'm equipped to handle a multi-million-dollar dental practice. The doctors don't necessarily know what to ask, what to look for, how to vet someone other than asking like Facebook groups and communities. And then obviously that's a whole nother thing to unravel in terms of the voices that you're listening to in those groups and what are their motivations and why are they recommending this person. And so I feel for dentists, and I'm not saying that we're the end all be all. I mean, our approach and what we do fits a certain type of doctor who wants to do certain things in terms of their marketing and the legacy that they leave. But as far as dentistry overall, there's definitely good people in the space for sure. There's a lot of people in the space, I think, that are well-intentioned. They just don't understand what it is they're selling or how to sell dentistry. And I only know that because I was there when I started. But starting working with a friend and somebody that I really cared about pushed me into that, I've got to figure this out kind of a thing. Which, was a huge blessing, but that's probably the main difference with us is everything we do is month to month. Everything is custom. We do the digital side and the ground marketing side, and we're very proactive and creative for clients. I see that a lot with situations that doctors get in is a lot of the kind of the model that dentists are used to is, hey, we have like this package that you pay for, and then you sign away a year of your life and you pay us whether we come through or not, right? You have to pay us. And don't ask questions. Like, we'll send you reports. If you have questions, sure, we'll talk about it. If there's something that's bothering you or whatever, we're probably going to kind of backpedal or skirt around it. We're not going to really get to the root of what's going on. And then also, we don't do anything custom, right? We're very reactive. We're not proactive. Like, we're sitting back, and I talk to so many doctors that are like, yeah, I'm having to write my website content. I'm having to do this. I'm having to do that. How can I get involved? We're doing a lot of stuff right now with clients, just giving them ideas for like trunk or treats and things that are in the community. I mean, these are, dental professionals. They don't necessarily know naturally how to integrate these events and things, which can have a huge yield for the practice. So it's really just comprehensive, customized strategy that we do with every single client, because every client's different. And that's the thing with dental practices, where even the big DSO groups kind of have noticed that the cookie cutter approach doesn't work, because it kind of is, the patient experience is really the differentiator, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what you have to communicate to people. It's not about the dentistry really at all. So there's long-winded answer, I know, but ADM is very different. And I didn't realize how different we were until we really started getting out in the space and meeting doctors and hearing what they go through.
Yeah.
And let's do a little education here.
Yeah.
Only because I come from a marketing family.
Mhm.
Why don't you do a paragraph for us on what the difference is between advertising and marketing?
That's a great question. Absolutely. So advertising to me really is just making noise. I mean, for the most part, marketing for the most part is compelling somebody to choose you, like why they should choose your product, why they should choose your service type thing. So advertising is kind of ringing a bell, being really loud, getting your name out there, getting in front of people. Marketing is more of conversion and focusing in on really what makes you special, to me anyway.
I love that.
Yeah, and so that is what we are talking about here.
Absolutely.
There may be some advertising that results from a marketing strategy, but what we're really talking about here is how to strategically reach the marketplace and put the practice up to bat, I guess you would say. I mean, you can deliver them to the front door. After you get them to the front door, they got to do their thing, and they got to be good at delivering their service. But your job is to give them the opportunity to get to bat.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Marketing, I do have this conversation a lot. Once the phone ring, once they're in the office, I mean, we do try to help our clients in terms of, here's some resources to answer the phone better. Here's some ways to kind of get your team rowing in the same direction, kind of a thing. But that's definitely not what we do.
That's what we do.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of organizations like Crown Council. I mean, you guys have the best of the best in here. I mean, My Social Practice, obviously love those guys. They do a great job. Respecta, another good group, do a good job. So there's really safety in these organizations in terms of like thought leadership and bringing quality people to the forefront, which is awesome. But I mean, for the most part, Stuart, and you and I have talked about this on the phone just after hours for a while. The big thing with dental marketing that I see is those well-intentioned marketers, like the dentists, almost you have to educate your marketers a lot of the times. Don't get me wrong, ADM can't work with everybody. I mean, we couldn't work with 1% of everybody. My goal, though, is to just get dentists thinking differently about their marketing to help their marketers who are well-intentioned kind of swallow that pill of like, okay, dentistry is a little bit different. Maybe I'm not as good at this as I thought I was because I was there. And so here's these key elements that I can bring to the forefront that maybe we look at my strategy and start getting me results for the money I'm paying you. And one of the biggest things is just realizing that statistically, most people are fearful of going to the dentist. And so they make buying decisions differently when they're fearful. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to talk about everything I'm going to do to you and how smart I am, and you're just going to come to me in droves. And that doesn't drive either of the key indicators for the average dental patient, because the average dental patient wants to know, what's the experience going to be like? Have you hurt anybody else? I don't really like, obviously I want to get my problem solved, but I don't necessarily want to know everything you're going to do. I just want to watch Netflix or, whatever. Like, do you have a massage chair? Like, and so dental marketing, it seems like too, has been overcomplicated. Like, there's all these terms, and I have these, you see in these Facebook groups, people are like, well, how does SEO work? And how does this work? And how does that work? And it's like, just be a dentist. Like, why do you have to know? Like, why are you inquiring as to why nothing's working? It's really not in the process of SEO. I see dentists that say SEO doesn't work. And it's like, it definitely does work. It's just maybe you have the wrong person doing it, or the person that's doing it doesn't understand your business.
Yeah. Very good. And when you think about the marketing that you've seen that's falling flat or that's ineffective, is that the main reason why, or is there something else? Like, why would most marketing that a dental practice is doing not working?
So a lot of it starts with understanding that the marketing isn't about the doctor. Like, some of these websites that you see, and everything's about how smart the doctor is. It's all about the doctor, and very little is about the patient. And so really it's kind of getting the doctor to step to the side and kind of step into that Mr. Miyagi role, where we're taking the patient on a journey to the outcome that they want. That goes a long way. There's a lot of like stock everything. There's stock imagery. Everybody has the same website content. I see these, beautiful headshots of a doctor that's in their lab coat, and there's this long paragraph about how smart they are. And then there's a little bit about who they are, when it needs to be who they are. And then obviously people know that you're smart if you're a dentist. And that's the thing, when I speak, and like at DDMC, you tell a room full of doctors, like, most people, like, who's the best clinician in the room? Nobody raises their hand, but everybody raises their hand in their head, right? Everybody's like, yeah, okay. But the average person doesn't know clinically who's superior. So that doesn't really factor in. And then most people look at every dentist as the same in terms of education. Don't get me wrong, there's people that know dental schools and that factors in, but for the most part, it's just, are you close to my house? Are you going to hurt me? What kind of perks do you have? What's the experience like? And so that really, number one, I think, is the biggest thing I see, is it's too focused on the doctor, not enough on the patient. The patient experience stuff is completely lacking. There's very little about that. I mean, I was looking at a practice the other day that's here. So they're in the Midwest, they're in Oklahoma, and you go to their website and there's like a couple walking on the beach. And I'm just like, like, that's cool. Everybody wants to walk on the beach in Oklahoma, but it's just that kind of stuff. Like, there's not a lot of, and it's really not much, Stuart. It's just little thoughts of, if I'm somebody living in Oklahoma, how am I going to pick this office from all the other offices? What is it about this doctor? Why did they become a dentist? What is it about their patient experience, or the legacy they want to leave in the community? Like, what can I register with? And one of the most powerful things that I do when I talk to doctors is, you already have a lifestyle that you're leading. So you may be in a, maybe you're a musician, maybe you go to a yoga studio, maybe there's a church that you go to. You have all these places that are you, and it's completely omitted from your marketing message, right? And you can use social media. Reciprocity is huge with small businesses. So you can, if there's a certain place that you and your wife like to go to dinner on Saturday nights, tag them in a post. See if there's synergy there. Like, it's really simple. It doesn't add anything to your schedule. There's no additional time commitment. Like, all of these things are just folding you in. But a lot of times when I talk to dentists and say, if you think about your favorite patients, you guys have a lot of things probably in common outside of the dentistry that you're doing. So it's those hobbies and interests and life, like seasons of life and things. Like, use that to your advantage and get more people to come to you, because you have those commonalities with that offshoot or that audience. So if you're like the yoga doctor, get everybody that does yoga within your community to come to you. And it's easier for them, because we go back to, dentists are scary. It's not so scary if we have something in common, right? I have a way, like, you're humanized. You're not just another person in a coat. So dental marketing is so overcomplicated, but that kind of stuff, just common sense type things, and just human relationships and how to sell people things that they're fearful of. Again, being creative and proactive, I think, is another thing that I never really realized a lot of agencies don't do. It's kind of like we don't do custom. We don't, if you have anything you need, like we don't do that, which is unfortunate for a small business that's tied to a tight radius like a dental practice, because you need creativity. And then the ground marketing, like that's doing the digital and giving doctors ideas of things they can do to infiltrate their community and get lined up, like using your social media with your hobbies and stuff like that. It's all super powerful stuff in terms of just a comprehensive marketing strategy. So that's probably the main things that I see that are lacking is doctors are paying all this money and they're getting grossly underserved. And then also the marketers don't know what they don't know. And so the results fall flat. And again, I only really know that because I was guilty of it when I started. Definitely didn't understand what I was doing.
Nice. Any follow up there, Greg?
Sean is going to run the petting zoo.
Yes.
That's the
We're
follow.
working on it.
Check in at the
Go ahead.
annual event. The man picked petting goats to introduce himself to the
Give me a
members
great story.
of the Crown Council at the annual event. So he'll be next to the goats and the llamas in the lobby of the Fairmont Hotel.
We hope.
We hope if they'll let us do it.
Rachel was
The-
showing.
The animals continue to transition. At first, it
Yes,
was
they
like
do.
horses. Now we're down to
Ostriches.
goats. Yeah, and then they're like lizards, and there was talk of like miniature donkeys and all kinds.
That's
of
what I
stuff.
heard yesterday, man.
But wait. I mean,
Hmm.
what I'm saying is, if I were picking probably the most unique platform for you to stand to introduce yourself one-on-one to the Crown Council membership, it is going to be at the place where we are petting goats.
That's fun.
And
Yeah, it's
I
going to be
think
outstanding.
That demonstrates the kind of guy you are.
Nice.
And good for you. Good for
Um,
you.
It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm stoked.
Sean, when ADM is hired, so if a practice is watching this and they're like, let's do it, I'm going to make the transition. What are you going to be doing now you take over, or what, any sneak peek on what ADM does for clients to help grow their practice or connect? What are kind of the things they can expect?
Yeah, man, we're going deep today. I like it. Yeah, so we do a brand intensive with every client that comes on. So we spend 90 minutes talking about who you are and why you do what you do. We obviously it's more complex than that. It's a deep dive, but it's just really trying to help doctors kind of uncover, why did you become a dentist? Why are you practicing where you're practicing? What are your goals? We talk about a brand as kind of like a third person. Like, if your brand was a person, how would you feel around them? Like those kind of things. We have complex questionnaire that we go through, but it helps us really shape everything. Then we start everybody in what we call Basecamp, which is kind of our foundational things that we do. So like websites, SEO, Google AdWords, things like that. Stuff that we need to obviously do to get the phone ringing, but also conversion rate's huge. And that's like what you were saying earlier, Greg. A lot of marketing companies don't even track that number necessarily, where it's, hey, if people are coming to my website and they're not clicking or calling, like what are they doing? Where are they going? And there's a huge opportunity cost a lot of times for a practice there, because people say, oh, I'm getting 30 new patients a month, like everything's great. And you look at the conversion rate and you see how many people are bouncing, and it's, man, you could be getting 50. Like, have you looked at what's just walking away? And most of the time that's just what we're saying to them is not compelling them to action. So we really develop that narrative to make sure we're maximizing that conversion rate, because it makes all the other marketing ROI better if we're getting people to a landing page or a website and it's converting. So we really deep dive there. If we need to develop logos or anything like that, we do all of those things. We come up with customized content and things around the treatment they provide, technology in office, really getting the doctor's story created and pushed out there. And then from there, my team will do customized like review of SEO and Google type stuff, just to see what your competitors are doing, where you're ranking, where they're ranking, those kind of things. So that strategy too is customized to you and your area. And then I like to sit down with clients, look at a Google map and come up with ideas and things of ways we can kind of infiltrate the community, things that are going on in the community. If we need to do photography or video, my team comes out, we make that process really smooth. And then once all those things are done, it really moves into what the doctor wants to accomplish in terms of like if they want to do a billboard, if they want to do direct mail. I mean, we do TV commercials, we do radio ads, we do streaming ads on like Apple TV and stuff like that.
Nice.
We have a full print shop. I mean, we have the ability to do anything because our clients, I don't know what they're going to want to do. Like I said, everything's custom. So, people come in and they get an opportunity of, hey, we have a banner position on the Little League baseball fields. Do you guys want it? We'll sit down and look at like, here's what the cost is. Here's the anticipated ROI. Yes, you should do it. No, you shouldn't. And we can help you kind of facilitate that stuff. And then once all that's rocking and rolling, again, it's proactive. So we're talking often and things, reporting's huge. So we have real-time dashboards, reporting everything we're monitoring. I like to be ahead of things in terms of our buddies at Google are always changing things and updating and changing ranking factors, but also too, like A/B testing, like we're talking about, if we're getting a good amount of people, like, we go back to advertising, we're getting a good amount of people to a landing page and they're not clicking, something is missing, or when something in what we're saying or what we're showing people isn't resonating. So how can we manage that and change that up? So it's really that kind of stuff, and it just cycles in perpetuity. We don't do long-term contracts. All of our clients are month to month, so they have freedom. I feel like that's the best way to have relationships, is both people are in, if you will. And we just, whatever we have to do to help our clients succeed, man, we do it.
Very cool. Hey, if you are on crowncouncil.com, I will show you Sean's page. It's a lot here. So we've had Sean on before, little 2-minute clip here. And then down below, I love this free training. So you can kind of test out this little, I've walked through some of it, but very cool little module for dentists on how to create more professional video using their phones. And then so many ways to interact with Sean here. His website, schedule a call. The Facebook page is very interactive with a lot of great content, especially podcasts that Sean has created that's very thoughtful. Instagram, and then contact him anytime. Is there anything on here, Sean, that you want to talk about or that we missed?
No, definitely check out Pocket Video Coach if you can. That's turned into such a fun project. But yeah, we just teach you how to make quality content with your phone. That was kind of a COVID initiative when we started. Me and Blake from My Social Practice had an idea and started talking about it, and that was kind of the result of it. But it's really, really valuable in terms of just creating content for social media, documenting, clinical cases, patient testimonials, anything like that.
Nice.
Your cell phone is an amazing marketing weapon.
Cool. Appreciate you. Thanks for being on. Gregor, any follow-up, last questions or anything?
Nope.
Nope.
Petting zoo it is.
Yep. Can't
Oh
wait.
yeah.
We will see
Yeah,
it,
hopefully-
in 90 days, if not before.
Hopefully we'll get a solidified roster of what's going to be. I heard everything from a lizard to a kangaroo yesterday is what I was told.
Velociraptor.
Sean, we appreciate what you do and appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Have a good
Hey,
day.
man. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Greg, the only thing I was thinking of, and if anybody's watching or wants to comment on this, years ago when My Social Practice started, right? So Instagram's new, Facebook is new, and someone said, hey, this is a great opportunity for us to tell people about our practice. And so My Social Practice started helping with blog posts and Instagram posts. And I remember there was a year where all the docs were posting the same thing. So My Social Practice would send out a picture that was like, come to our dental practice, right? And then everyone would post it. And they found over time that although that they were helping with the messaging, so they were sending out stories and that the offices couldn't hide if their culture was terrible. There was no story to tell, no matter how good they got at Instagram and Facebook. If the story was that our doctor's not very nice, or that the practice isn't led by a great there was no story to tell. There was no social media to tell. And we, obviously the purpose of Crown Council is to help you create a culture of success. I feel that resonates so well when we talk to guys like Sean, where he's like, well, let me help you tell the story of the practice. Well, I hope that the story of the practice is worth telling. And so, as a reminder, working on your culture every day, working on the environment of the practice every day is the key. It's
So you
not,
have a story to tell.
I'm just saying that
Yeah.
the tools are important, but more important is what are we working on that makes people want to be in this practice? When people are looking at the story that the marketers are telling, is it fake? Do we have a story? And I think that that is a really interesting thing for a practice to think about is if we hire Sean to come and tell the art of our story, the art of our marketing, what is it? Is it worth telling? Are people going to be happy to be in our culture and in our environment? And if that's not the case, I know, the tools that are available online for Crown Council members can help start that journey of creating a culture of success that patients want to be a part of. So I had to laugh internally when he's like, let me tell your story. I'm like, well,
I talk with this
hope
with
it's a good
Lane
story.
at Perspective Marketing all the time. At Perspective Marketing, they track the ROI of their SEO. So, where do you rank? Who do you call? How many times the phone rings? And it is interesting that when you compare, say, 10 practices, and the phone rings the same number of times at 10 practices, and yet the ROI is different in the
Right.
10 practices, and the difference is that Sean or Lane or whoever is helping you make the phone ring can't help you once the phone rings. You've got to have the culture and you have to have the systems in place when the marketing, or over here the advertising, makes your phone ring.
Yeah, great
And
point.
and boy, it is when two or more things are important to deliver a result, it's stupid to argue over which one's the most important. Making the phone ring is important, but man, so is having the system to convert them
Yeah, I
once
love
it's
that.
there. So
Very
congrats
good.
to Sean. He's created an interesting niche in
Very,
the market.
yeah. All right. Last week we sent another humanitarian team off to the Dominican Republic. So on the show last Thursday, we highlighted 3 different participants of the Guatemala trip. So as soon as Guatemala got home, the next week, our humanitarian team went to the Dominican Republic, and Dr. Shane Sykes was there from Reno, and he took his son. I interviewed him yesterday. He couldn't meet live, so I've got his 13-minute interview where he talks about why he goes on these trips, what he learned, and some advice for anyone who is going or thinking about going. So I'm going to play the little video here from my desktop, and hopefully it all works out. Look at him. So excited. All right, here goes. All right, welcome to the live stream. Stuart Anderson here with Dr. Shane Sykes. Hey, Shane.
Hello. Great to be here.
Grateful to have you back. You're one of the very few repeat guests we've had on the live stream. So, yeah. Hey, Dr. Sykes just returned. So, Crown Council went to Guatemala a couple weeks ago, and then we just sent another group to the Dominican Republic where Shane was, and they recently returned just this past Sunday, right? I mean, you got home
Correct.
Saturday. Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we thought we'd chat a bit about his experience, why he went, some fun memories, and everything that happened on the trip. So grateful you'd be on. Thanks.
Yeah. Glad to
And
be
you're-
here. It was a fantastic trip and excited to share about it.
Tell me about, have you been on a trip before?
Yes. So I've done this was my 4th humanitarian trip. My first one was also to the Dominican Republic about 10 years ago with Roy Hammond.
Nice.
And that opened my eyes to the world of what we can do and what we can gain from those kind of trips. And then after that, I took my family to Kenya for a month at the Masai Dental Clinic.
Oh, nice.
And then last year, we took all of our family again, all my kids, down to Guatemala for a week there. And then this past week, spent that time with my 16-year-old son. He was my assistant down in the
Nice.
Dominican Republic.
Okay. This is a good spot then. Let's just ask, once you started doing humanitarian trips, what brings you back? What's the it's time away from the office. Like we can do the list, the whole list of things
Yeah,
why
there's
it's
a lot of
dangerous.
reasons not to do
Yes.
it, but the reasons why to do it are so much better, so much bigger, more grand than why not to do it.
Okay. Let's hear them.
For me personally, the reason I do it is because the way I feel while I'm doing it and the perspective that it gives me when I come back. I think the best example of that is probably on my first trip. I went down with Roy Hammond. We went out to these, for anyone that hasn't been down there, you stay in one hotel and then you go out to the work sites each day. You go, usually go to a different work site, and they might be in the city in really low income, low access areas, or they might be out in remote villages that are an hour down a dirt road into a sugarcane plantation. And so we go out there, we set up our equipment with generators to provide power. These people usually don't have electricity, don't have running water. And so we bring everything that we need.
Yeah.
We set up in a church usually. So we work with these patients and give them as much care as we can. There's no way that we could meet the tremendous need in the limited time that we're there, but we do what's most urgent or most valuable to each of those people that we serve, and really get to love them as individuals and get to know them as much as we can. And so my first experience, I was blown away at the difference of my life versus their life, my children versus their children. I was working on a patient, and my treatment spot was right next to a window, and there's a young man watching through the window, and he asked me, he said, "Hey, can I have your shoes?" And I said, "Oh, why do you want shoes?" And he said, "I need shoes so that I can go to school." And that kind of really opened my mind to what their world is like, because the kids are playing jump rope and whatnot barefoot on these sharp rocks and stuff, and but to go to school he needed shoes. So after our time at the clinic is done for a week or whatever it is, then we spend a day just resting and relaxing and recovering. So on my first trip, I'm sitting on the beach relaxing, and I go to the gift shop to buy some souvenirs for my children. And as I'm walking around, I'm looking at what's there, and I think, you know what, my kids are so blessed. They don't need anything here. And so rather than buying some stupid t-shirt that says I love the Dominican Republic or whatever, I just picked up some seashells and said, rather than give my kids more stuff that they don't need, I'm going to give them memories. And so that's why we've taken kids on all of our future trips, so they can experience that same kind of change for themselves of the gratitude for what we have in our world, the dental care that we can provide, the blessings that we have in everyday life. That's why I do it, is to be reminded and for the experience of serving others.
Yeah. And you can really carry that, into your own service in your practice. That is very, very transferable. What a cool thing to be able to experience with your kids. Because I've traveled with my kids there, not in the capacity of being a dentist, but it doesn't make it easier to be there with your children.
No, it's a lot more stress.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work, but it's absolutely worth it. I feel for my children, it completely changes the trajectory of their life and the gratitude that they have for what we experience.
Yeah. Maybe talk a little bit about the group that you were with just this past week, who you served with and what you guys did, where you went. Can you do that for a minute?
Yeah, for sure. So we had 6 doctors total. Alan Thomas was our head honcho lead doctor, keeping everybody in line and safe and organized. And of course, Esperanza and Dr. Patricia were there running things from the local side. They do such a fantastic job. We all arrived on Sunday, and they whisk us off to an all-inclusive hotel where we stayed the entire time.
That's nice.
The typical format was in the morning, we'd get up, go have breakfast, jump on the bus, drive out to the clinic. The first 2 days we were in the city, which was a new experience for me. We were in the city in lower income areas, places that the people really didn't have the resources. We set up in churches, and we had 6 doctors. So we worked 2 doctors per table. And then we also had 4 hygienists or 6 hygienists. I can't remember how many hygienists we had. I think we had 6 hygienists as well.
Okay.
And so we were able to treat a lot of patients. We saw on average, I think 85 patients per day.
Wow.
So it was fantastic. We did a lot of work. And on these patients, we're generally treating 3 to 4 teeth per patient, doing fillings and extractions for most of the patients that I treated.
Okay.
So it was fun.
Very good. And your son was your assistant. What did he think? How was his experience?
This was his second time. He helped me last year in Guatemala. He didn't assist a whole lot. He did great this time. We're doing relatively basic dentistry, so it's not really sophisticated four-handed. You're not working with a delivery system and everything like we do at home. So he's just handing me instruments and helping keep the patient comfortable. And but he loved the dental side of it. He is pretty good in Spanish from his high school classes. And so that was great for him to be able to use that and communicate with our patients. So he had a great experience.
If you didn't know, when we go to the Dominican, you've heard Dr. Sykes talk about Patricia. She's our in-country host. She is a professional dentist that also works for Esperanza International. And so when we arrive at the airport, that in-country group, they pick us up, they take care of us, they feed us, and they're also managing a small microloan program where the associates in different communities are receiving money and loans from Esperanza International. And then as part of the work that they do to repay their loans and be leaders in their community, Smiles for Life provides dentistry for those people. So years ago, Dr. Hammond told us that he didn't want to provide, or it doesn't do a group of people any good to just provide a handout, free dentistry. And so a lot of the work that we do in these clinics comes at the price of these associates belonging to Esperanza International and working to build their community, which is a great way for us to hopefully make a difference rather than just fixing teeth. When you went to the community, Shane, did you guys meet any of the associates or?
We did.
Yeah.
It was every day we would start the day with a morning huddle and inspirational thought. And then one of the local associates would tell us about their business. One of the ones that was really neat is a man that started out with making food. So he got a little cart and kind of grew his business, or he had like a roadside stand, then he upgraded to a cart. And now he's working on getting a loan. I think he's on his 3rd loan now. So he took a small loan of like $700 and paid that off. And then he got a bigger loan and a bigger loan. And his goal is to get a freestanding building for his restaurant or his carniceria, butcher shop. So he's just growing his personal financial situation and his impact on his community and bringing other people into the loan program so that they can grow it. So it's really, really neat to meet those people and see how Esperanza is supporting them and helping them, and to be part of that, to support the amazing work that Esperanza does to really bring them out of poverty and teach them how to support themselves in a meaningful way.
Cool. I'm glad you got to see that. Very good. Hey, as we wrap up, Crown Counsel's tagline, our mission, to help you to create a culture of success in your practice. Shane was just talking about bringing on a new associate. Anything that you are doing just in your own personal practice, Shane, that you could share with the rest of Crown Counsel that's helping you guys have a powerful team culture in your own practice?
This quarter, we're really focusing on value creation. And so at our last team retreat, we looked at 3 different areas of value. There is material value, emotional value, and spiritual value. And so we talked about how can we help our patients in each one of those ways, and what are our core values. Actually, the poster right here behind me is our core values. And
Cool.
so we talked about how can we apply those to create value for our patients, and then how can we measure that value. So we said, well, the physical value that we create for patients could be measured in production dollars. The emotional value that we create for patients could be measured in reviews and referrals. And then the spiritual value, that's really hard to measure. That's just the connection that we have with our patients and helping them get what they want in life. So really focusing on that as a team this quarter is really a lot of fun, and bringing us more purpose as we provide care for our patients and happen to be doing dentistry while we do that.
Nice. I love it, man. Well, you're a great leader, great example. Fun that you got to go on the Dominican trip, and grateful that you'd share just a little bit with the rest of the group. And we're inside 100 days for annual event. We're going to be in Austin.
Yes.
So, man.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Excited.
Quick.
Awesome.
All right, man. Anything else?
If you haven't done a humanitarian trip, you need to do it. It is physically exhausting. Like, you need to be in good physical shape before you go, because it is hard work, but it is absolutely worth it. Take the time, take the expense, do whatever it takes. It will change your life. It'll change the way you do dentistry, and it'll make you a better human being.
Very cool. And Dr. Sykes, since 2007, has raised over $60,000 for the Smiles for Life Foundation. Just a huge example and practice to watch when it comes to your team members and the way that you run. So I'm just grateful for everything you do as an example to the membership. So thanks, Shane.
Pleasure to be a part of it. Thanks for what you guys do for us.
Okay, man. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Awesome.
He's a happy guy.
Awesome. And he speaks the truth.
He does.
I mean, that people wonder why they go back.
Yeah.
Why would a guy go back 4 times?
Yep.
And it's because you get a taste of it. And there's just something about being in that environment where you receive nothing for what you're doing, other than the gratitude of people who just are so grateful that you are there.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Good for him.
Very good. I want to finish today. I'm going to share my screen again. So you were looking at the Crown Council website. This is crowncouncil.com. A very easy thing to do as a premium member of the Crown Council. You could navigate here to the Premium Member Hub. And on the Premium Member Hub, we always keep our latest content sitting right here at the top. And one of those things that I want to pay attention to today is the Mentor of the Month. So if I click here to all Mentors of the Month, this is one of the oldest features and benefits of belonging to the Crown Council is our going out and finding those in our community or those that are not in our community outside of dentistry to teach the things that will help make you and your team a better dentist. So this is some of the most relevant Mentor of the Months that we have produced. You can listen to them, you can watch them, you can share them with your team. Your team has access to all of these Mentor of the Month recordings. It's run as a bit of a podcast type, so it's also on multiple podcast platforms. You can see here that the last one that Steve interviewed here, it comes in a video. You can also download it. So really fun right here, the podcast to be a part of. So I wanted to bring that up. We have 5 or 6 more minutes, but we have a new one. This is an incredible interview that Steve does with Michael Sonic, and I'll let them introduce it. We're going to play it for 5 or 6 minutes. But you can read from the title, Treating People, Not Patients, an incredible title that also goes along with our message and our mission. So I'm going to play this. We will be posting this new Mentor of the Month podcast to the Crown Council website in the coming week for you and your team to learn from, listen to together, and then talk about. do a powerful, do some sort of team meeting about what you learn here. But there's so many ways to interact with this Mentor of the Month recording. So I'm gonna play it for us, and then we'll wrap up in just a few minutes. Welcome to the Crown Council Mentor of the Month. It's Steve Anderson, and I'm delighted to introduce our mentor this month, Dr. Michael Sonic, who is a well-known periodontist from Connecticut, who has a list of credentials that would take the entire program to go through. And we're delighted that he's here. I'll just give you a little bit of background on Dr. Sonic. He practices in Connecticut, has built a great practice there, received his education from literally all over the world, including Harvard, and also in Sweden at the Brandemark Clinic in Sweden. He has lectured all over the country, as well as written textbooks that have been published and are used all over the world. And the credentials go on and on. And so this conversation today is about one of the core values and beliefs in the Crown Council, which is a copy genius. And this is a dentist and a man that is worth copying in so many regards, including one of his core beliefs that he does not believe in treating patients. And we're going to talk about that first off, because Dr. Sonic just released a book entitled Treating People, Not Patients. And we believe in the Crown Council about creating a culture of success. And so much of what Dr. Sonic has done and believes feeds into that whole premise. So Dr. Sonic, thank you for being with us and being our Crown Council Mentor of the Month.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here, Steve. And I have tremendous respect what you do, what you've been doing, and how many people you have helped.
Okay.
You know, we just got to know each other recently through a mutual friend, Jay Dworkin. And I feel like when I talk to you, I've known you my entire life. And it's sort of like, you know, opposites don't attract, likes attract. So, I mean, I really have tremendous respect for what you're doing and how many people you're helping. So I'm really happy to be here and be able to share some of this information with you.
All right, so let's cut to the chase. You don't believe in treating patients. Why?
Yeah, well, it's a concept that I have had most of my life, and I do treat patients. It's my book is called Treating People, Not Patients.
Right.
But you know, I remember once I was at a lecture, and I think it was on digital planning or something, and it was a guy from he was from Europe, and he was I think from Spain. He's looking down. He goes, you know, sometimes I look down, I realize that there's a body attached to these teeth. There's a human being down there.
Right.
Oftentimes, you know, we refer to, you know, our patients as procedures. And when you know, I've had a lot of dental care myself. I've had a lot of medical things going on, as most people have, especially when you've been around for a while. And I do like to be treated like a human being. And I think that we're not taught, and it really comes back to our education. Why do people go to dental school? We go to dental school to learn how to do procedures, you know, that to learn how we do stuff. And if you listen to Simon Sinek, he talks about the why, you know, what's your why? That's very popular right now. You know, what do you do? Well, I'm a dentist. What do you do? I fix teeth. I drill holes. I take out teeth. I fill bone up. I do veneers. I do orthodontics. But we don't really talk about what do we actually do? Is that why we do it? Some dentists do it because they just love to do stuff, you know, and there's a lot of those dentists out there. I call them procedurists. There's nothing wrong with being a good procedurist. Like if I'm going to have heart surgery, I want that heart surgeon to be a great procedurist. He doesn't have to have a great personality when he's doing the heart surgery. But it would be nice if he said hello to me before the procedure, or at least had a team to do that to make me feel good. Because as you know, we talked about it a little bit, your mental state makes such an impact on who you are being, how you heal, etc. Your stress levels is really impacts how you heal. And people want to be treated as human beings. They don't want to be treated as procedures. And I think a lot of people, you know, I know you don't do this, but a lot of people who are involved in training dentists that become more successful, they go, we'll send them a rose on their birthday, or, you know, make them fearful that if they don't get the treatment done, things are going to fail for them. You know, I know one dentist that makes patients go home cry because they said they're going to have heart disease if they don't have their periodontics treated. And I think that's a really terrible way to be. So I really am all about people. I really love people. I've been involved with people my whole life. I was involved in high school. I did a lot with people, a lot of group, a lot of service work. I worked in restaurants. I did, I was a bartender. I cooked food. I served food. I played cocktail piano. I was a lifeguard. So I always wanted to work with people and make them better. And so when I got involved in dentistry, I said, I like the procedures. I enjoy doing them. But what I really want to do is make people feel better. And that's sort of my goal in life. I want everybody around me to feel better. So when I'm telling patients something bad, and a lot of my patients, because I'm periodontist, I sort of see people at the end stage. A lot of my people refer to me really, things haven't gone well. My average new patient is 64, 65 years old. They've had nothing but problems. They've had multiple procedures done in their life, and they're losing their teeth, and they've been told they can't have implants or they can't save their teeth, etc. I don't care how bad their situation is when they walk in. I don't care how poor their prognosis is. I'm going to say, it's not that bad, because it really isn't. It's really your point of view, right? I mean, it's like, if I'm having a great day, I'm usually in a great mood. Okay, so if I go into Starbucks and the barista is really nice to me, it's me. Okay, I can go to the same Starbucks 5 minutes later in a bad mood, and they're not very nice. It's amazing how that's a reflection. And I think by looking at our patients as human beings, it's a better life, and patients sort of flock to you, and they send other people that want to flock to you. And it's not just about doing those procedures. Now,
All right. That's a good place to stop. It gets good. Yeah, he shares a lot of good stuff. So we'll have
that one is worth your 40 minutes.
Yeah, we'll have it posted next week, so you can check out the Mentor of the Month. And it's actually already uploaded to the podcast on iTunes, so you could listen to it there, but the video and everything will be on crowncouncil.com. So, all right, Gregor, that's the end.
Awesome, Stu.
Thanks for everybody for
Hope
joining
everybody
us
has
today.
a good week.
Okay, cool. That's the end of our show. We'll see you next week. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.